First at 11, investigators are hitting a dead end in the search for Nancy Guthrie. DNA from a glove found near Guthrie's home in Tucson, Arizona did not come up with a match. They ran the DNA through a database that houses DNA from people suspected or convicted of crimes, and there weren't any matches to possible suspects. Today, host Savannah Guthrie's mother disappeared 17 days ago. The glove looked similar to the glove of a man believed to be her kidnapper. The FBI says they may now turn to genetic genealogy to help solve this case since there were no hits to the national database. It's a relatively new tool to help solve crime, but it has been used to solve cases right here in the Bay Area. Fox 13's Genevieve Curtis is in our newsroom tonight with a closer look at how this process solves crimes.
Yeah, it has solved a number of crimes in our area, Haley. The work of using DNA and genealogy to trace relatives of an unknown person probably got the most attention when it was used to identify and arrest the Golden State Killer in 2018. And since then, an investigative genealogist I spoke to says it's happening now almost on a weekly basis all across the country.
We just want to bring closure.
Investigative genetic genealogists like Ed Adams at Moxie Forensic Investigators have been helping resolve cold cases across the country. Last year, they helped Clearwater police solve a 30-year-old mystery, identifying Edmund Gleed as the John Doe found near the Clearwater Pass Bridge in 1993. They were able to call his now 90-year-old son with the news. That same technology is what FBI investigators now plan to use in the Nancy Guthrie case. Unlike traditional DNA testing, which looks to make an exact match, genetic genealogy uses a different approach.
You can think of an STR profile as just like a fingerprint. It tells you if you have the right person. An SNP profile, on the other hand, is like a roadmap that tells you how to find the right person.
That roadmap utilizes publicly available genealogy databases where people have uploaded their DNA.
You start building out family trees until you're able to make connections between those DNA matches. And from there, it's just sort of a short research.
As for how long it takes to make a connection, Adam says it varies widely.
We've had cases that we have solved in hours. And we have had cases that we're still working on 2 years later.
And for law enforcement, voluntary cooperation isn't always easy.
And obviously, if you're a person, someone calls you out of the blue and says they're a detective and they want a DNA sample from you, you're probably going to be hesitant, right? Yeah, so that definitely takes some convincing for a lot of people.
But with time, those clues can lead to answers. Just last week, St. Pete cold case detective Wally Pavelski used this process to identify a murder victim who had been known as John Doe for 46 years. Johnny Bradshaw was 29 at the time of his murder at the Siesta Motel. Bradshaw had two sisters who had been looking for him for decades. Adam says if people have given their DNA to a site like Ancestry or 23andMe, you have the option to opt in to the databases that can help solve cold cases.
If you feel moved by these sorts of cases, like the Nancy Guthrie case or any of the other number of cold cases that are being solved daily using IgG, I would encourage them to look at websites like GEDmatch, Family Tree DNA, and DNA Justice.
And it is worth emphasizing that people who have taken consumer DNA tests through services like Ancestry or 23andMe are not automatically searchable by these investigators. You do have to make that selection on the website. Haley.
Great information. Genevieve Curtis reporting tonight. Genevieve, thank you.